Hello and welcome back to another redstone tutorial video. I am Voided and Lost. This tutorial video is going to be for the 3-player roulette wheel. Now, this roulette wheel is very similar to my other roulette wheel, but as the name suggests, we can have up to 3 people playing on this wheel at the same time. Yes. Something else that is nice with this wheel compared to the first wheel is that I have added more colors down on the wheel itself so that you don't run the chance of having long streaks of winnings on one color before it switches over to another color, which was a problem with the first wheel that I made. And so the way this game is played, even though there are positions for 3 different players, you have to have at least a player 1 playing in this position because this is the start button, and it will only start if there are diamonds in this shulker box. Now, yes, you can replace these shulker boxes with a different container like a barrel if you would like, or a chest, so they do not have to be shulker boxes. But once you have a player 1 who puts some diamonds in this first box, and the game will only remove 1 diamond or block of diamond or whatever your payment is. It will only remove 1 at a time. Then, as long as there's a diamond there to start the machine, then you can have players 2 and 3 put diamonds in their boxes if they are playing. You have the different colors on the wheels that you are going to bet for. And to change your color choice or to make your choice, you hit the button. Okay, so each player can change their own individual color choices. So for this player, this is their input box, and this is their color choice changer. And then for this player, this is their inbox, and this is their color choice changer. Now, each of the colors, if you can take a quick look, there are a different amount of the different colors. So, obviously, there's 2 pinks or magenta, there's only 2 blues, and then the number of reds, blacks, and greens are also different. So, the odds, if you count up the available spaces in the wheel, for the pink and blue, the odds are 1 out of 11 chances that you'll hit one of those, 2 out of 11 to potentially hit a green, 3 out of 11 for a red, and the best odds are the black with 4 out of 11. And because there are different odds, I also changed up the amount of payout for each color compared to how the first roulette wheel was. For the first roulette wheel, the blacks and reds paid out the same, and then the greens were slightly different. In this case, I ran all the colors through a Redcoder, and so each color choice when you win will pay out a different amount. And I will explain that when we get to that part in the video. But real quick, blacks are 2 diamonds, reds will be 3 diamonds, greens will be 4 diamonds, and the pink blue will be 7 diamonds, or diamond blocks, or... So, I'm going to just go with black for right now with this. Oh, and definitely do not spam the button because it will break the redstone underneath if this goes too fast. You have to let all your pistons complete their cycle to do that. And then we've put our diamonds in. So we hit the button. And I made it so you can walk on top of the wheel. Makes it nice and easy to see what's going on. And magenta. So that didn't work. So let us get players 2 and 3 involved. I think let's go with the... let's do the red on that one. I'll keep black here, and yeah, we'll keep magenta over here on this one. So we will add diamonds to this box. And we will add diamonds to this box. And we'll spin again. And the machine will first take diamonds out of this, and then it will take diamonds out of players 2 and 3. And you heard they had their own individual chimes. Look, there we go. And player 3 won. And got 3 diamonds. 3 diamond blocks. There we go. Perfect. And one other bonus feature with this wheel is if you would like, you could make 1 or 2 of these colors into a bonus position rather than paying out diamonds. You can have it pay out a prize. Like in this case, if the player lands on the blue, they would get totems of undying. And that is something that you can add into the wheel, and that will be kind of a bonus thing I will show you how to do and change up your wheel at the end of the video. So yeah, kind of something nice about this wheel. All right, so let us now just get into the tutorial, and I will show you how to make this machine. Okay, and so for a rough count, what we are going to need for this machine is almost 4 stacks of dust, 5 redstone blocks, about 7 targets, a stack and 46 of comparators, about a stack of repeaters, about a stack of observers, 12 droppers, 26 hoppers, 28 sticky pistons, 29 regular pistons, 12 powered rails, 8 note blocks, and then for the note blocks to make your sounds, 2 emerald blocks, 3 gold blocks, 3 packed ice. You will want 48 lecterns and 48 books. Now, with the books, what you want to do is you want to go up to page 30. Do not go past page 30, or if you do, delete them out so that you have a total of 30 pages. Write something on the page and then sign it. And these books are quite important for your redstone signals. And then for the wheel, for your color choices in the wheel, 13 black concrete, 11 green, 11 red, 5 light blue, 5 magenta. You'll need whatever diamonds or diamond blocks to start the game for your initial payouts. You want 6 stackable, or you want 6 non-stackable items, and then just some random stackable items. For the decoration, now for my wheel, these are what I chose for the decoration of the wheel. For the chamber that the wheel itself is in, I just went with stone bricks and some waxed copper bulbs. The trim on top, I used polished black stone, almost 2 stacks, and then some slabs. A gold block and some fencing for the wheel top. And then these again are for the top, just some decoration. And then for my 3 different player sections, I chose a theme of light, medium, and dark gray with the matching buttons. And then some lodestone, polished diorite, stripped wood, and quartz for the light side. For player 1's middle gray, I went with polished basalt, polished andesite, smooth stone slab. There are more here because for the wheel itself, I used some of the polished andesite in with the wheel and with the decoration with the spindle top. And then for the dark, I went with the blast furnace tops because that was a nice texture, some regular basalt, and a couple deep slate tiles. For the blocks for the circuits themselves, you don't have to go with these colors or wool or any of this, but just this gives you kind of a general idea of how many you might need. You will want about 2 stacks of glass, both for the circuits and for the glass on top of the wheel, so that you can see down through it. So the reason I use these books with the 30 pages in them is because of how easy it is to figure redstone signals. So if I set this up, and I have a length here of 15 redstone dust. That's the maximum that a power signal from redstone can come. And I just put a book in the lectern. That's one power strength, as we can see by the piston. That's on page 2. And so if I cycle through these, you can see that whatever page I flip to, if you divide that in half, that tells you exactly what your signal strength is going to be. And each time I change the page, I just add one more signal strength until I get all the way up to 30. 30 divided by 2 is 15, and that is our max signal strength. And that is really why I use the books with the lecterns. It's because of how easy it is to set your signal strength for your redstone signals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Easy peasy. So, before we actually begin building this thing, you need to locate your chunk borders and figure out where your chunk borders are. Because if you position this machine incorrectly, chunk borders will break it. So what you don't want is you do not want a chunk border on the line between your shulker box and your lamp. Because what that does is that will put, if you look right down here, that will put a delay between this comparator and the dropper that it's getting a reading from. And when that happens, what happens is this comparator is essentially locking your item sorter. And if there is a weird delay here, then it is not going to let the diamonds process correctly, and you will get a diamond stuck in here, and then your machine will just continually spin forever and ever. So usually when people are commenting on the first roulette wheel that I made, saying that they keep getting a diamond stuck in here, it is most often because there's a chunk border in this spot. And if you look on top, that is actually between the box and the lamp. In this case, player 1, that's important because that's what starts the machine. For players 2 and 3, again, on this line now, you do not want a chunk border going between the box and where the lamp is, because even though these don't start the machine, they still process the item sorter for these players, because again, it's a comparator and the dropper behind it that's getting a reading, and that will add a delay. So you don't want a chunk border here, and you do not want a chunk border here. Now, I have Mad Hatter's chunk border pack that I can put on this and get going, and you can see I do not have chunk borders overlaying those sections. If you do not or are unable to have a chunk border viewer pack, you can go to a website like chunkbase.com or any other similar website and kind of see where the different chunk borders are based on the coordinates in the upper left corner. So if you're on a console device, you can check with the website to see where your chunk borders are. Or if you are good with math, you can come way out here in your world. The coordinates in the top left, if you divide those by 16, you can kind of figure out where your chunk borders are. Chunk borders are at multiples of 16 and 16 minus 1. So let me just kind of mark this real quick. There. So from here to here, we've got 96 divided by 16 is 6. And then it would be 96 minus 1. So that math works out. This is just an example. Or if we go in this direction, we've got 144 divided by 16, and that is 9. And again, you have the 144 minus 1. So in your world, if you kind of reverse that and multiply, like 16 times 10, and that'll get you your coordinate, and then that -1 is where the actual border is, or you know what I'm saying? You just have to kind of do the math. It's multiples of 16 and 16 minus 1. So there you go. So the size of this machine, if this is our floor level right here, it's going to be 14 blocks tall, or dig out underneath for the redstone 13 blocks. Your machine is going to be 23 blocks wide. And then in this direction, coming back, it is going to be 18 blocks to the back. Now to position this, to make sure you have the highest chance of this working, I positioned the front wall right on a chunk border, and then this left side, the blocks are like just one chunk over, because the redstone itself will actually be here starting within this chunk. So yeah, there we go. That is the ideal place for you to start your machine, where the front wall is on a chunk border and your left wall is pretty close to a chunk border. Okay, so I recently built this machine on our Broke Rock Season 7 server in survival mode, and it was a bit of a pain. So as I'm going through this tutorial, I'm going to try to make this as easy for you survival players as I can, and more power to y'all if you are building this in survival. So essentially what that means anyways is that we will be building from the bottom up, starting with the heart of the machine, which is the randomizer that powers the wheel. So what we want to do is come to this back corner. So this is going to be the front of our machine here. Go to the back left corner at the bottom, right here. So count over 10, including this line. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then forward 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and we are going to start there. Okay, so now going back towards the front of the machine. Let's go 1 and 2. Over here, we're going to go 1 and 2, and 1, 2, and I think one more. Over here, we want repeaters pointing towards the back of the machine. This one is going to be on 3 ticks. That one's on 4. That one is on 4. And do another one there. And then it is redstone dust, and redstone dust. Above this block, put another one. Next to this, we'll put one. And then over on this side, we will put one. Back over here, we'll come up one more with a comparator pointing into that block. So that will eventually fire down onto that dust. We will want dust here as well. And then this block on this side, we will come back once and twice more. So again, this is the front of the machine. So just so I don't confuse you with the bearings, we're going to do one more dust, and we're going to do a repeater. And that is firing up into a block there. Next to that block is a dropper with a hopper pointing back into it. Okay, so this is actually our randomizer. This is the comparator getting the reading from this hopper, firing into this stuff. Okay, so now over here, the line that's feeding these repeaters, we will start at the back side here with a block like that. We want an observer actually looking up. So right there. an observer looking at that one looking at that one, and that too is firing into a block, which is another way that this dropper and randomizer is going to be fired and shooting items into the hopper. On top of all of this, we want one more block there, and we want one more block there, and we want one more block there. Okay, we have a comparator there. We have a comparator here, and we have dust, dust, dust. So this creates a decaying circuit here, and one more dust here. And that will also be triggered by this. And since this is our randomizer in this dropper, we are going to put 6 non-stackable items and 1 stackable item. Now, it is the non-stackable items that will have a signal strength of 3, which will keep this powered and keep spitting out items, which will keep the wheel running. And it is the stackable item that will output a power signal of 1, which will only get here or here, which means that this does not fire a second time, and it will shut the machine off. Okay, so this part here from these repeaters, when these are lit, meaning when this dust is lit, when all of these are lit, they are going to turn off a redstone torch that is in this position. But when this torch is on, it is locking the machine from moving. So we're going to put a couple blocks there. Dust, dust. And then we'll come on over one more block with a repeater. Like that. And then a dropper and a hopper pointing up. And the hopper going back down. And put a stackable item in there. And because the dropper is being strongly powered, that is not going to go back down. Let's take a comparator reading from the dropper. We'll come down and back with a block with a comparator. And then on this side, 2 blocks. Dust here. A repeater here on 4 ticks of delay. Like that. That is firing into a block here with dust on top. Now when the torch here unlocks this, the item will go down into the dropper, firing this, and that'll shoot the item back up. It'll lock briefly and then unlock and go back down. And this up and down with this, and the way this is getting fired, this is determining the speed at which the pistons fire to move the wheel feed tape around, this up and down sequence. And so the next step is that we actually put in those pistons for the feed tape. So we are going to come off of this block, and we'll come 5 blocks to the right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 4 blocks to the left. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. We'll come 1 more block around the corner here. We will do 3 blocks around the corner there. Pretty sure that's what we're doing. And then here it's dust. And then a repeater on 4 ticks of delay. A regular repeater, 2 bits of dust. And then around this corner is a repeater on 3 ticks of delay. Coming in this direction, we have 1, 2, 3. That becomes part of our lock. We have a repeater, again on 4 ticks of delay, and dust coming around this corner. Okay, so then since we're over here, we will continue with this line. We will come up with the block here, come 1 towards the back, 1 towards the front, bring our dust to this spot, and a repeater pointing in this direction, and a repeater pointing back in this direction, and this one we want on 4 ticks of delay. Above this one, looking down on it, we want an observer that is firing into a block. And then on the side of that block, so again, that's the front. On the inside of this block, we'll have a piston right in that spot. Okay. Over here, we will come up with block, and then we will have 1, 2, 3. So we have 4 altogether, and we'll do a slab here off this last one. On this, we are actually going to do powered rails to get our signal over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come to the inside with an observer. Nope. There we go. Looking at this rail. That is firing into a block here with a piston on top pointing back in this direction. Now this piston and that one should be on the same elevation. Okay, so come back over to the left hand side, and from here we will come up, and we'll have a total of 7. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. On top of these, we will do more powered rails. Off of this end one, we want an observer faced down looking at that powered rail, block on top, and then a piston on this side. So that should be, yep, just 1 block over from this one at the same elevation. This one is 1 block over from that one at the same elevation. And then lastly, our last piston. Our last piston is going to go in this location here. So we'll have an observer looking at the repeater, firing into a block with dust on top. And then the piston itself will be there. Just like that. Okay, and now since we are also kind of in this back corner, we're going to throw in some sound effects. So get yourself a note block. And a couple blocks of emeralds. And over here, have an observer looking down at that. 1 observer looking at that one. That fires into a note block with an emerald block below it. And then hit this one about 13 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And then over here, go ahead and put a note block next to this one with an emerald block under it. And again, hit this about 13 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And so this is the piston feed tape in. So now as far as putting the actual slabs of the wheel in between these pistons, we will do that later on, more towards the end when we're starting to decorate this. But what I want to put in now is the bit that actually locks the readings from the wheel. So what I mean by that is, like right now, even though it's not being played, that ball is sitting in a spot that is getting redstone power, and that is feeding into the machine. But the machine is not doing anything because essentially the signal is being locked on in terms of outputting something that's going to trigger something else. So like, okay, so here, that comparator is firing into the ball, which is sending the signal down, which would normally be coming over here to this comparator. And that signal would work in conjunction with the player's choice signal to then be signaling a win or a loss. But right now it's being locked out. because of this torch is putting a 15 signal strength into here. So what we want to do is actually get all of this with this lock in place, so nothing will happen regardless of where this ball is sitting. At least you don't want anything to happen until play actually starts. Yep, so what we're going to do is come off of this line here with a 1, a 2, a 3, and a 4. And because this is a lock, locking that, locking this, I can take a signal off of here. Before I do that, since I don't want this to leak back onto that line, we'll block it off there and then do 1 and 2. And a repeater to get it past this block so that when this triggers this, it doesn't also trigger this line. And then we're going to go 1, and actually I kind of want this to come out 1 more to here with dust. And then we will run this back towards the front of the machine, 5 blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's like 6 total. We're coming up into a block with a redstone torch. Another block on top. We're going to swing around to the inside and put a redstone torch here with yet another block on top. A sticky piston here. Yep. An observer on the face. When it extends to this point, we want it to fire into a repeater on 4 ticks of delay. And then the repeater itself is firing into a block that has our locking redstone torch here. So what happens here is when this starts playing, this unlocks. See? And then when this fires, this locks back up. This extends, this blinks off for a few redstone ticks, just long enough for the machine to compare the wheel with the player's choice before locking again. And it's that moment in between this being on and off that all the other redstone magic happens. Now, in addition to working this, there are a few other things that I want this line to do. And that is, when we are over here playing, when the machine starts, what we do not want to be able to do is change our player choice. Either here, or here, or here. I want to essentially lock these buttons off to keep people from changing things up. Likewise, when the wheel is spinning, we don't want this button to work. We want to lock this off so that they can't submit more diamonds into the machine again while it's playing. So since we are locking the wheel anyways from that one circuit, we will lock 1, 2, 3, 4 buttons. And to do that, let's start over here off of this side, and we will start with player 1's choice button lock, if that makes any sense. And we are going to come down here to where this redstone torch is, come over and down and over like this, and then come up and over one more, and up and over one more. So you have 4 here. Come out essentially to the outside edge, and then come up and over one more. And then at this point, we are going to backtrack a little bit. So let's actually run our dust up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to backtrack with some glass like this. More dust, switch back to our blocks, and we're going to come up 3 more. Nope, nope, right there. 1, 2, 3. And we'll dust, 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 dust. Dust, 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 and then back again with a piece of glass with some more dust. Okay, now eventually this should be the correct location for that player choice button. So right now, the button would work. When all of this turns off, this fires, locking the button up here. For player either 2 or 3, depending on how you want to label it, we are going to come off of this bit of corner over here, coming out once, twice, and then over 1, 2, 3. Dust, 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 dust. Again, we are going to, at this point, come up to, oh, okay, up to there with a redstone torch on this outside. Come up with another, there we go, with another block. Dust on it. And then I'm going to switch up to some glass. And have, there we go, 1, 2. Dust, dust. Glass, glass. Dust, dust. 1 more glass. Dust. And then we're going to come to the inside once. Up and into the inside. Give me enough. Okay. Yeah, so I'll want that one there too anyways. So, inside 1, back to the center with this one. And dust on top. Yeah, like it. Okay, so we should be on this center row. 1, 2, 3, 4 glass. 2 on the left, 1 on the right. Okay, so now when, this player's choice button gets put in, this will lock that. Now, for over here, I'm actually going to pull off from a slightly different area, but it still gets triggered when that magenta circuit gets triggered, because ultimately, everything starts with this torch right here. So we're going to put a magenta block here. We are going to come up to that spot and block this dust from traveling back down and up and interconnecting, because we don't want any of that. We're coming down 1. And for the other player's choice button, we're going to be going 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go ahead and put the dust in. So there, 1, 2, 3, 4. Essentially, it's 5 in here. Then we are going to swing around to the side here with 1, 2, 3. Dust, dust, dust. Come up with the block. A redstone torch on its face here. Block above. Dust on top. And we're going to do the mirror of what we did over there. So we will switch up to some glass. And do 1, 2. Dust, dust. 1, 2. Dust, dust. 1 here. Dust. 1 to the inside. Dust. And 1 more back to the center. Dust on top. And we should be the same height as that tower over there. Again, 2 glass on the outside, 1 glass on the inside. So that will affect this button. And finally, the little bit that will lock the payment in, aka start button. And with that, we will be 1, 2. Come forward 1. And then it's a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. We will come forward once, twice, and bend back over by 1 block. We will go ahead and run dust on all of these. And then come up with block with a redstone torch here. Another block on top. Redstone torch on top of that. And we're going to make a little short torch tower here with one more block, one more torch. And then put one more block on top with one more to the inside. And dust and dust. And then we will kind of come off to the side with one. And that's to block the circuit for a future circuit that comes in. But we are going to come over once and twice and back one. With dust, dust, and a repeater. And that is going up into a block there with a redstone torch on it. Block on top. Another redstone torch. Another block with some redstone dust. Alright, so now that we are at the top of the machine, let's go ahead and put the start button and our input, diamond input box in. So we will come, okay, so this is essentially the front of the machine here. So to the left side here, we will do a block here. We'll come down and do a block next to that torch. We will do dust. We will come over and down with dust. Let's come up with some glass. There we go. On top of the glass, we want a comparator. We want a dropper with a hopper facing back into it. On this side of the dropper, we'll put a block. Let's swing around. Have a hopper pointing into the block. Over here, in this dropper, we will put one stackable item. Yep, that put our signal strength down to there. And put our signal strength over here. So now this hopper is being locked. And we can use this as our item sorter. So what we want in our item sorter is 1, 2, 3, and 18 stackable items here. And then our diamond, let me find a diamond. And one diamond here. Okay, we can go ahead and put our shulker box on top. And we can go ahead and put a redstone lamp over here. And then on top of the dropper, we'll put one of our decorative floor blocks with our button. So that button would trigger this dropper. Okay, around here, under this yellow block, we will put a temporary block here. We will do a piece of glass on this front side. Another yellow block over there. We'll take this back out. Over here, next to this one, we want a dropper facing up. And then if we come on over into here, under this hopper, we'll have another hopper pointing into that dropper. See, it's pointing into the dropper. Over here, we'll put one more diamond up into there. It's okay. It's good. We were going to put a diamond here anyways in the bottom dropper, but yeah, make sure that that diamond stays there. We're taking a comparator reading through here. That is going to fire into a block, and we will send our signal down. To here, have it come over one and back one towards this block with dust, and a repeater. Okay, so when this signal increases from 1 to 2, any diamonds that's in this dropper will shoot up and go to our output payment dropper. And over here, when it goes from 1 to 2, that signal will come down here to this location. And now if we get ourselves a note block and a piece of packed ice, we can put the packed ice there with the note block here. And then on this side, if things are all lining up for you, we put a redstone torch and that locks this and this. Okay. So at this point, I'm going to say, double check your chunk borders to make sure there is no chunk border between this comparator and this dropper. If there's a chunk border here, you're in trouble. So just at this point, double check, make sure it's not there. And what we're going to do now is we might as well bring this line over 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 with a dropper facing up. Yeah. Over here, we have a hopper facing towards that block. Take these temporary ones back out. And have a hopper, and hopper. There we go. So any diamonds that go through here into here will get fired up and follow back over to this dropper, and this is our payment out dropper. And now this start button needs to start the wheel spinning. So that's kind of why we started coming down this direction with the yellow. Once this unlocks, it should start the wheel spinning with a block there, come over and down with another block, bring our redstone dust down. We are going to turn the corner, come over and down with this, then over and down with glass, because we are going to come over and then back down to here, take these out, and then come down one more, and we should just be one block above the ground. Bring our redstone dust down, and down to here. We will come out one more block, and then we will turn the corner here. And then from here, we'll add one more block and then come up and over with the block. We want a repeater here and dust here. And make sure this block is not over this redstone dust. Dust on top of this, a block with a repeater on it. That is firing up into a block. There. And that has a redstone torch on it. And that is why we have this a slab, so that this torch does not interact with that block. Come on over and down one to here. One block there with a repeater. And then off of this blue, we want up to there, 2 and 3 with dust, and dust. Okay, there we go. So that signal should then come on through and trigger our randomizer. Okay, so for this next circuit, we will be setting up for 2 different things. One, we need to be able to compare whatever color the wheel lands on with the player's choice. So we need to compare those 2 things. And if there is a match, whatever signal strength is coming from the wheel, we will need to use that to figure out what our payout should be. So, and we need to do that for players 1, 2, and 3. So, our signal from the wheel will be coming through this point here. That we already know, because that is where we put our lock. So from here, let's kind of come over and down one more here as well, with dust and dust, and a comparator here. Now we are not going to be using repeaters through this section because we need to know exactly what the signal strength from the wheel is. So we don't want that changing as it goes through this circuit. And it's going to be kind of a windy little circuit because we need to send one part of it to the left, one part of it to the right, and one part of it forward. Okay, so we're going to come up into a block here. Going to come, yep, from the left-hand side, going to come over and down. Take that out. This gets dust. Then over on this side, we come over and down. And this one gets a comparator. Okay, so from the dust side, let's come over and down one more time, and then out two more with comparator, comparator, comparator. Now we are going to be doing some long lines of comparators because of the timings of this. This is going up into a block, and then a block there, a block here. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 puts us there. Okay, so dust coming around this corner, and then another comparator, 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 comparator. Come out one more for 6, and this one needs to be in subtract 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. We'll also do a block here, block next to the comparator, and another one here on subtract. So far, whatever signal is here is also going to be here and here. This is the start of the circuit that compares with the player's choice. This one, if there's a win, this one will be unlocked and go off to the payout circuit. Just so you are aware as to where each of these sections are going. That's for player 1. For player 2, I am going to pull off of this line over here since we've already come this far. We're kind of halfway there. And I'm just going to continue it around by coming over and down with block here. Some dust, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. So that should give us 5 comparators. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 comparators, and again put this last one in subtract mode. And just like there's 2 points to this circuit here, we want 2 points to this circuit here. So get yourself a target block, put it next to that dust, and then do 1 block here with a comparator in subtract mode. So similarly, this one is going to compare with the player's choice, and if there is a win, it will unlock this and send the wheel power strength off to the payouts. Then over here for this other player on this side, this comparator fires up into a block. We're going to come over to the inside here. So this is where the wheel is. We're coming to the inside of the machine with a block and dust. Another block here with a comparator pointing away. That's going up into a block because we do not want power on that piston. Coming back down over here, another block. So we'll do dust and a comparator. That is firing up into a block with another block here with dust and a comparator in subtract mode. From this point, we come down 2, take out the middle. We can put dust here. Coming back towards the front of the machine, we'll do a block, and then up and over with a block, and then kind of do that. Do a comparator pointing into this block, dust here, and then we will add 4 more blocks along here for a total of 6 comparators. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, with again the last one being in subtract mode. So for this player on this side, this will compare the player's color choice, and if there is a match, it will unlock this, which is coming from the wheel and going to the player's payout. And then that is the setup, basically the setup done for all 3 players. And now that that is set up, I think we will go ahead and put in the redstone for the power strengths in the middle. So from here, from this block, we'll come over once, twice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it should be 7 wide from in front of that piston to here. And then coming to the back, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And essentially we should be in line with this stuff. And then fill in the circle, although here above this hopper, use a slab. And then we can switch back to solid blocks and just run these like this. Go ahead and put redstone dust on all of these. There we go. So it's all powered. And then, okay, so if we're here, so then on the outside, what we want is to come up 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 6. Over on this side, we'll also do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then on the inside, we'll come up to here and basically just fill in here. And there's like five positions here. And likewise on the back row, we will fill in with these positions here. Okay, so now on all of these, we want comparators facing in towards the redstone dust. And then get lecterns and fill in all of these on the outside with lecterns. Like that. And then, like I talked about earlier with our book, get yourself a book and quill. Go up to page 30 in your book and quill. If you go over 30 pages, delete them out. You need a total of 30 pages and only 30 pages. Write something on that last page, it really doesn't matter what, and go ahead and sign your book. And then put the book in each of these lecterns. And you can see they're powering on with the comparators. And then we need to set these books to the correct pages. So, for example, the book on this corner should be set to page 10. And the next one over here should be set to page 4. And I'm going to show on the screen what each book needs to be set to. So you can pause and set your books to the correct pages. Okay, so now that all of your lecterns and books are in and set, we are going to come on over here to this comparator, and we will set up the circuit that will compare those signals with the player's choice signal. And it's going to kind of twist and wind in here, but we will get it to fit. So first we are going to come over and down with some redstone dust here. And then we are going to come over and down again and up. And that gets a comparator. Over here we are going to come over, down, and back towards us like that. This dust will come there and step up this time. And then we are going to bring it around with a target block there. Now what I also want to do is put a redstone torch on this block, just like that. And then we will do a block, come around the corner here with a block, a block. And we will have repeater. Actually a block up here, take that bottom one out. And then another repeater and repeater. There, now you see how that locked that? So now the signal from the wheel itself is not going to get through to the payout unless this matches here. So this is essentially kind of one half of that signal. This comparator in here will still need a signal from the player's choice to come into it from the side, and then it will behave like what that down there was doing. All right, so this is for player 1. Let's move on to player 2 and get theirs set up. And now this is the exact same circuit, does the exact same thing, but it is going to be shaped a little differently because of the spacing and room. But we're coming off of this comparator again. We're going to come down with our dust to here, and we are coming out to here. And then we are going to come down, take that one out, come forward once more, up and over, take that out, come up and over to the inside, take that one out, and we're going to come back, and one right there. Okay, so this will get a torch, this will get dust, this will get a repeater, like so, with dust here. And now I want this torch to be able to interact with this line, so we are going to put some dust on some glass in front of it. We're going to run this line up, and a repeater, locking that comparator. This is much more clear and easy to see what's going on than this over here, but it is doing the same thing. It is saying if there is a signal strength of 1 coming through this comparator, because it's subtracting, if this comparator is outputting a signal strength of 1 from its subtraction, that dust will be here. It will not make it to there, and everything will be off. This signal goes through. If this, after its subtraction, doesn't output any signal, it's like that's off. And it's the torch that keeps this locked. Likewise, if the signal strength is greater than 1 coming through here, well, it's reaching over to this point, in which case the repeater picks up the signal and locks. So it's only when the signal coming out of this comparator is 1 that it opens up this line. So this does that. This circuit is doing that. See, there's our torch down there. And then for player 3, again, it's going to look a little different, but it is going to do the exact same thing. Like the other ones, we are going to bring the signal down, get it closer to where it needs to be, with some dust here. In this case, we are going to come out 2. We are going to have the comparator here. That dust will be here. We have a torch on this face. This dust will come down out the back, come over and down to here. We will go ahead and come down here, take that out, run this over once and twice. At this point, we want a repeater down there. We want dust. We want dust. We want that to come up to a block. Come around a little closer. And a block there. So this dust will be here, here, here. And the repeater will be there, locking that. So again, I believe it's going to be this comparator. Needs to be a signal strength of 1. Here, keeps the torch off, keeps the repeater off, opens that up. Okay, 3 circuits that do the exact same thing, but are shaped slightly different. They are essentially a redcoder with a signal strength of 1. And now, speaking of redcoders, we will be putting in the redcoder that will power the payout. We're going to start over here with player 1. And it is going to be based off of this line here, which is receiving the exact signal strength coming from these lecterns around here. And this redcoder, we have 5 different colors in the wheel. So we will bring it over 5 spaces with redstone dust on each of these. From here, we will come over and down. Again, run these across. And I did put out a redstone tutorial video on how to make redcoders and kind of what they are useful for. And so, if you'd like, you can check out that video. From here, we are going to come up, run these across like that. We are going to put blocks on top of these like this. We will do dust on top of these. We will do repeaters here. And these we will put on 2 ticks of delay, each of these, like this. Down on these blocks, we want redstone torches. We want blocks here coming across. And then we'll put torches on top of these, and they should all turn off, just like that. Perfect. Okay, so that is the redcoder bit. And now we will be tying these into the payout portion. So we'll do glass over this section. And then grab yourself some sticky pistons And on top of each of these torches, put a sticky piston, put a lectern, and put one of our books of 30 pages in the lecterns. Okay, so now when those get pushed over, they will be at this elevation, so we'll want comparator readings on the glass, comparators on the glass. Okay, now these are firing into blocks. All right, there we go. With redstone dust on top of them. Okay, so now each of these pistons represents one of the colors on the wheel. So this first piston is for the blue color on the wheel, and it will pay out 7 diamonds, or 7 whatever your payout is. Okay, and we want to set then this book to get a payout of 7 to page 14. Okay, that is because, let me throw in a block and a comparator here. So this essentially is a power strength of 7 right behind our comparator. And we're just going to take comparators out up to the payout. So there's that one. This next piston is for the green, and its payout will be 4 diamonds. And we will set its book to page 10. Now, page 10 would be a 5 signal strength over here. But when you figure in decay, 5, 4, the 4 signal will go out to the payout, giving us 4 diamonds. Okay, this next piston, the middle piston, will be for the black color, and it will pay out 2 diamonds. And we will set that book to page 8. So that's signal strength of 4, 3, 2. Pretty straightforward how this is happening. And this next one is red, and its payout will be 3 diamonds. And we will set its page to 12. And then this last one is for magenta, and its payout is 7 diamonds. And its book will get set to page 22. So 11, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. And the 7 signal goes on through. Okay, so there we go. At this point now, we can bring this line up into the payout. So we'll put a block in front of that with some dust on top. And then we'll do a block next to the dust with a block next to the comparator with the comparator facing away. That's firing up into a block there. And then we are making, essentially we are making the same payout as we did in the double or nothing machine. So we've got some blocks there. Let's do one glass block here, simply because I know in the decoration part, a solid block there might be problematic. So we're going to add 3 more here. In this back corner, we are going to come up and over like that. So we want dust, dust. I want dust there. Comparator, comparator, facing back in this direction, comparator, and comparator. Okay, so it's a decaying circuit that's going to give our payout. We want an observer looking down on this bit of redstone dust here. There we go, there. And yes, sorry, I forgot I'd taken out the output dropper earlier for something else. But yeah, your observer should be there in comparison to your output dropper. And so yeah, just put a block. Yeah, just a block next to your output dropper. Should work. And since we are also here, let's work in our sound effect. And the sound effect, we're going to come to the front side of all of this. Have an observer looking at that, one looking at that, and we're going to wrap it around to point to the back. That is going to fire directly into a note block with a block of gold below it, and then hit it about 6 times. Okay, let's go ahead and do the player here on the left, get their payout circuit in. We will start with their Redcoder. So again, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Redstone dust. On all of these, come in and down 1. Run 5 blocks across here with repeaters pointing outward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are going into the blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Redstone torches on the front of them. Blocks over the tops of these. Dust on the tops of these. Repeaters pointing outward. 2, 3, 4, 5. Each of these are on a 2 tick of delay. Do blocks on top of these torches. 5 more redstone torches on top of these, and they should all be going out. Cool. On top of this dust back here, we want glass. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We want comparators. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Over here on top of these torches, put sticky pistons. With lecterns. And books. Okay. These comparators are firing into blocks. No, come on. Can I get them? There we go. Firing into blocks. Like this. Throw one more off the right-hand side. We have 5 pieces of redstone dust. And on this last one here is a comparator. Okay, let's get these books set up. Now, looking at this from the outside, the one to the far left over here is our magenta. Payout is 7 diamonds. And the book is set to 22. Okay. This next one is red. Its payout is 3 diamonds. And its book is set to 12. The next one is black. Payout is 2 diamonds. And its book is set to 8. Next to it is green. And its payout is 4 diamonds. and its book is set to page 10. And then lastly, we have the blue. Payout of 7 diamonds, and its book is set to 14. And to work in its payout circuit, off of this comparator, we will do our block, dust, block here, another block next to the comparator, with another comparator coming out here. That's firing up into a block. And we will do our platform. Get my bearings here. Of 1, 2, 3, up in this corner, like that. And then 1, 2, 3, and a glass one in this corner. Again, because of decoration later. This we want dust and dust. We want dust there. Coming out and across, it's a comparator. And coming back, it's a comparator. And just like the other side, we're going to have an observer looking down on the redstone dust in this corner. It is firing up into a block. And then to the outside of the machine, you will have a dropper facing up next to that block. Okay, and then again, to do our sound effect with this, come under that dropper with an observer, come swing to the right or towards the front of the machine with an observer, and then one towards the back. That's firing into a note block, the gold block under it, and then hit this 6 times. And lastly, we will fly across the machine and do the Redcoder for over here. With 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Dust, 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 dust. Come over down. Bring that across. We have repeaters facing outward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are firing into blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are blocks above them. There's dust on top. There's repeaters firing out. Each of these is on a 2-tick of delay. Down here are redstone torches. Blocks on top. More torches. They should all be off. Back here, on top of this dust is glass, 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 glass. Comparator, 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 comparator. On top of these torches are sticky pistons. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Lecterns on their face. Books inside of these. These comparators are firing into blocks. Put one more block here to the left. Redstone dust on top up to this point with a comparator off this very end there. Okay, now on these ones, they're kind of a mirror. Mirror? Yeah, mirror to that side. For this first piston over here to the left, this is our blue color. And its payout is our 7 diamonds, and its book should be set to page 14. Next, this is our green. Its payout is 4 diamonds, and that book should be set to page 10. The middle is black. Payout 2 diamonds, and its page is 8. Next is red. Payout 3 diamonds. Its book is set to page 12. And lastly, we have the magenta. Payout 7 diamonds. And its book is set to page 22. All right, cool. Now we can bring this up to our payout dropper. Okay, so we are coming up a block, dust on top. Over here to the side with the block, next to the comparator with a block, and a block comparator facing back. We've got solid block there. 1, 2. Up and over. Over here on this side, we want glass, and we'll come back 1, 2, and 3. Dust, dust, dust down there. Comparator, comparator, swing around, comparator, comparator. And then we will be looking down on this bit of redstone dust with an observer. That is firing into a block. And again, the outside of the machine, so over here, is where we will be putting our output dropper. Here. Again then, an observer. Looking at that observer. Come around to the left. Observer. Observer. We should be at this point in the circuit with the note block, a gold block, hit it 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now that we have the payouts done, we can work on the pay-ins for players 2 and 3. Starting here, this is the output dropper, so we need hoppers going into it. We will come 1, 2, and 3. And then swinging here to the inside, 1 going there. Underneath this corner hopper, we will put a block. Next to the block under this hopper, we will have a dropper facing up. We will have 1 hopper facing into that dropper. Around here to the outside of the machine, on this yellow block, we want to come over and down and back 1 more, and then 1 to the left, up and over into this spot. So we have a repeater here, dust and dust. Actually, no, this should be, my apologies, this one should actually be glass. Yep, glass there. Yep. Block there. So that we could do a comparator on the glass into that block. Signal can come down, and then we'll come down again here with more dust. There we go. This, behind this comparator, we want a block. And then we want our sorting hopper facing into this block. Over here. next to this block, we want a hopper facing here. A dropper facing here, a hopper going back into it, a stackable item in the dropper, come down there, and then over to here with blocks, have a comparator. There we go, getting a signal here. This comes around to this side with a block and some dust here. There we go. That locks our sorting hopper. So we can put items in here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, up to 18. And a diamond. And then go ahead and put a diamond in the bottom hopper. Like that. And then let's go ahead down here and do our packed ice and note block. And redstone torch on the side of the note block. That will help lock that. On top of the sorting hopper, we will put our shulker box. And just like over here we have a lamp, we want to trigger a lamp over on this. So over here where this repeater is, have an observer looking down on it. Get one of your floor blocks to put there, and then put a redstone lamp on top of that hopper. So you are kind of at a diagonal. So when this circuit fires off, it will light up the redstone lamp. Now, over here, if you remember, players 2 and 3 don't actually start the machine. So they need to get a signal over here to trigger this dropper to see if there is even any item diamond in the shulker box. So we're going to come down off of this circuit here, which was originally our locking circuit. We're going to pull off a line and then come up and over with the block, and then up and over closer there with a block. We will do dust here. Come around to the inside. We will do a torch here, torch on top, and a block there next to the dropper. And so now when things start, this will trigger this to start, assuming there is a player here to play. And so now let's come over here to this player, and again we'll pull off their output dropper with 1, 2, 3 hoppers all facing into each other. Come to the inside of the machine with one more hopper. Under the corner, put a block. Under this hopper, do a dropper facing up, like that. And then do one more hopper facing into the dropper. Alright, come to the outside of the machine, where this yellow block is. Come over and down, and back one more. Do a repeater, and dust. And then to the right, or front of the machine, put one more block here with another bit of dust. Do glass next to the repeater with a comparator facing outwards into a block here. Behind the comparator, you want another block, and then you will have the sorting hopper pointed into that. On top of the sorting hopper, you might as well put a shulker box. Next to this block, you want a dropper facing outward with a hopper facing back into it. On this side, put a block down there with a comparator taking a reading off this dropper. Put an item in the dropper. This comparator put a block here, a block next to that hopper with dust here. And that is now locking our sorting hopper. So now inside our sorting hopper, we can add in our items, our diamond, and the diamond down below, like this. Okay. Okay. Now to finish up the locking of things and our sound effect, we'll come down here below the glass. Here with dust, with some packed ice, note block, and a redstone torch, which is under that hopper, just like this. And then just like we did on the other side, we want to work in a lamp. So we will look down on this repeater with an observer. It is going to fire into one of your floor blocks with a redstone lamp on top of that hopper there, so that when this gets powered, this will turn on. And just like the other side, we need a trigger on this because there is no start button. So we are going to come down to this, which was our locking circuit. We tie it into the magenta over there. We will tie into the magenta over here with a target block right there. Yep. We're going to put a redstone torch there. Block on top of the torch. Another torch. Another block. Block next to it. Both of these have dust on them. We want a block next to this dropper. One that position with dust on top of it. There we go, so that when that fires, that triggers this and starts the circuit. Starts the circuit through there, unlocks that. Drains out a diamond if there's a diamond. Okay, that is all good, all great, but we have an issue. Yes, we have an issue with players 2 and 3. That issue being, even if there are no diamonds in the shulker box, when the round of play starts, if the wheel lands on a color that was previously selected in the player's color choice for 2 and 3, the machine will see the bet and pay out, even if there is no bet. So we need to have a lock on players 2 and 3 so that the machine does not pay out when no bets have been placed. So to do that for this player, what we essentially need to do is lock this circuit from doing anything. If there's no bats up here, if there's no diamonds up here. Player 1 doesn't have that issue because it has the button and it's already worked in automatically. But yeah, so what we want to do is we want to lock this. So I am going to stick a block of redstone here to make sure that when this comparator happens, nothing happens. And we will move this block of redstone. We'll put one piston here. We will put one piston looking back down onto it, like that. Put one of our yellow blocks to the side. We will come up and over to the side. We'll come back into the machine, up and over. We will come back over to here, like a stair, like a spiral stair thing. And we will come back and over and up and down. All right, so if a diamond if an extra diamond comes through our sorting hopper, that signal will increase from 1 to 2, telling the machine that a payment has actually been made in here. If that happens, and we get a signal down onto this spot, we are going to do not a comparator, a repeater off of that to send the signal down, 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 down. This piston will push this out of the way, allowing this circuit to work properly. But that will only happen if a payment goes through the shulker box. Okay? And we will do a different circuit to reset this and push it back up. That will be later. But we need to do the same kind of thing for this player. This circuit would happen regardless if there's payment or not. So we need to make sure that this stays locked. So we will do that by putting a block of redstone here. We will do a piston. Actually, let's come on down, down, down. A regular piston here. Yep, take that one out. And a regular piston here. Right there. Okay. Since I've got that block there anyways, we are going to come one behind so that we are above the comparator. We'll take this out. On top of this, we'll do dust. Again, just like on the other side, this comparator is taking a reading from our sorting hopper. Comes down to there, down to here. If this lights up, this turns off. This one would turn on, extending that down. So, torch, dust, torch, regular piston, pushes that out of the way, and this circuit works. Again, we will reset this with a different circuit later. Alright, so the next step will be to put in the player's choice block swappers. But I want to start putting in some of the top decoration first so that we can align them properly. So for player 1 over here, next to the start button, let's grab our floor blocks and put in a couple more. Just kind of surround these over, around the shulker box. Is that directional? Yes, of course that's directional. Let's put this in like this, so that all the decoration works. There we go. Get my border trim over here on this side. Yep, so that looks good, and I can run this all the way across. This side over here. In between, I'm using polished andesite, like that. Again, polished basalt. Yep, like that. Doom, 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 doom. Like this, and sometimes it's a little annoying how to place these. So that's our output. So our input, our output. Divide this off with 3 more here. And then over here is where we will be doing the block swapper. Extend those 3 more. So in this section over here, come to this location with a block and put a button on it. And this is where our block swapper is going to start. Okay, so under this block, we want a sticky piston facing down with a block of redstone underneath. Okay, come to essentially the right hand side of this block and have another sticky piston facing down, and it should do that. And then have an observer. There we go. Looking to the back, firing in this direction. Then get a regular piston, and next to this piston head, we'll put a piston here, so that when this comes down, this one retracts, this fires. Okay, have an observer looking down on that piston, so that it can fire into a piston here, facing it. And we are going to daisy chain these pistons coming around. I can probably get rid of this for now. I don't need that anymore. And it gives me room to move. So now, off of this top piston, we'll have an observer looking at that, firing into a block. Swing all the way around. Have a piston pointing back in this direction. And then have two more observers like this, firing into a block. Swing all the way around. Have a piston firing back in this direction. Come on the inside with an observer, firing into a block. And then swing around and put another piston here. Okay, so that takes care of the top row. The bottom row, we are going to have an observer back out here at this corner. We're going to have it looking at that piston, and do one here below. Over here in this corner, we will have an observer looking up at that one, firing into a piston here. And now, since we have this circuit in the way and we can't bring one down like that, and we don't have room for any pistons in here anyways, we are going to need to do a sticky piston to pull the block outwards. But to do that, what we are going to do is look at the bottom of this piston with an observer. You might have to come all the way down here. Look at the bottom of that one. Come into, or you can move. Can we do it here? Probably not. Oh yeah, there we go. See, this piston's looking at this one. Come over here. Look at that. Come over here. Look at this. That is firing into a block here. And then we can come onto the inside with our sticky piston. Put that on the block. So now we are going to pull it rather than push from that side. Okay. So this is the mechanical part of the machine. And you will need a way to get in here to reset this. Because undoubtedly somebody's going to spam this button and it will break the machine. Tell your players not to spam this button. Because if they spam it, it will mess up the sequence of the pistons and things will get pushed out of alignment and pushed where they're not supposed to be. So don't spam the button. Okay, so let us grab our concrete blocks. So we want black concrete, red concrete, green concrete, light blue concrete, and magenta concrete. Yep, there we go. Okay, so to set these up, you will want black concrete. Oh, we are missing one more piston. I'm sorry. Let's get one more sticky piston in here. Let's get one more sticky piston right there. We go. Yeah, right next to that redstone block pointing up. Okay, on top of this, we will do our black. Okay, now I'm going to actually come down to the inside here to show you what this is like from inside. And this is how you are going to need to set this up. And how you're going to need to reset it if it gets broken. Like if your payouts aren't paying out like they should be, you want the black up top. You want red next to that piston. You want pink here, or magenta, blue here, and then green across from the magenta. Now we are going to put in the actual power sources that is going to be used to compare with power sources coming from the wheel. To set this up over here in front of this piston, just put a solid block and then do one lectern, a lectern here, a lectern there, and a lectern, there. Okay. In these 4 lecterns, do books, book up in there, and a book here. The signal strengths you need in these books. So let's say the block of redstone is a 0 signal strength. This one is a 1 signal strength, page 2. This one, flip to page 4. This one, flip to page 6. And the one under the piston is page 8. So in sequence, the signal strengths are 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4 under the piston. So if anything gets broken, you can reset by putting the colors back where they need to be and putting these lecterns with the books back where they need to be. Okay. So we need to set up the block swappers for the other players. So again, we are going to start with some of the decorating so that we can get our positioning. We have our shulker box and our lamp here. And over here I'm using lodestones as the floor decoration. We're going to surround the shulker box like this, like that. And in between, I'm using polished diorite. And then another row of lodestone. These can kind of come over. Lodestone, lodestone. 1, 2, 4. Some polished diorite. Some more lodestone. And actually, we can come 1, 2 more here like this. And then, so pay in, pay out, block swapper. So put your block here with your button on it, and that is the positioning where this one needs to be. So below this block, there's a sticky piston facing down with a block of redstone on top of it. To the back, outside of the machine, do another sticky piston. Perfect, and we should be right next to this, which was our locking circuit. And it should go, yep, into that piston. Do an observer there. That would be firing at this piston head. To another piston. An observer looking down. A regular piston over here. Okay, do an observer, a block, swing to the inside, piston, observer, observer, block, swing to the inside, piston, an observer, a block, swing to the inside, piston, All right, over here. Observer. Swing to the inside, matching piston. Over here. Observer. Piston. And then same thing as before. We want an observer. We want an observer kind of on the inside here. Yep. Yep, this comes to the inside here. Sheesh. And back. And a block. And in this case, come to the inside with a sticky piston. Here. Okay, and one more sticky piston. No, yeah, one more sticky piston where that redstone block is. Okay, good. Good, good. Grab your colors again. On top of this piston, we do the black. Come down into the inside so that you have this view. And once again, the layout is red, magenta, light blue, with green across from the magenta. And then for the actual signals, it's 0 signal, a lectern, a lectern, 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 a book just left on page 2, a book set to page 4, a book set to page 6, and a book set to page 8. And for this player over here, again with the decorations, I am using blast furnaces for my decoration for my floor. We will fill in around this a little bit. Come on, oof. Come up over into here. Kind of surround all of this. In between this and the next section, we'll use basalt. And I have a feeling it's directional. Yes, it's directional. Okay. Yep, like that. Okay. And then some more blast furnaces. More basalt. Now let's bring this trim. Ooh. Bring this trim over. Blast furnaces, and then right again in this spot in the middle, we want a block with their button on it. Below that block, we'll have a sticky piston with a block of redstone, and then to the outside, another sticky piston right there next to that glass with, there we go, an observer firing in this direction. Next to this, oof, where am I going? Next to this piston head, there's a piston facing in. With an observer looking down at it, and another piston up here, facing in. Then we have an observer looking at that, firing into a block here, swing all the way around, piston here. 2 observers, firing into a block here, swing all the way around, and a piston here. And an observer there. Block here. Swing all the way around. Piston there. Okay, so then off of this piston, coming down, an observer, matching piston. This corner, an observer, matching piston. Under that piston, an observer. We will come into here, observer. Looking at that one. Come to the inside, observer, observer, block, and sticky piston on the block. Okay. Come up to the top. One more sticky piston next to that block of redstone. And grab your concrete again. So it is black on the piston. Come on down into here, where you're kind of standing on those comparators. Over at that piston over there, it's red, then magenta, blue, and green across from the magenta. And then likewise, it is a 0 power. Add in your lecterns. There we go. Not that it matters, but 0 power. A book, just leave it on 2. A book, put it to 4. A book, put it to 6. And then a book, put it to 8. Okay, so we are getting close to the end. Now that we have our block swappers in here, with our power signals set, our redstone signal strengths set, we are going to take readings off of them. Specifically, the block that is in this corner is what we will be taking a reading from. And we will be taking it through this piston. So, next to this observer, put a block with a comparator on it. Now, if you remember correctly, I said we would be connecting to these on the side, because this is the comparator taking a reading from the wheel, and it will subtract the power strength from the player's choice, and running it through this circuit. If it is a 1, only a 1, exactly a 1, then it will unlock that and send the signal through to the payout. So we've got to get from there down to here. So we'll bring that down to here. With dust, we will put another block here. Oh, and we cannot lose signal strength doing this either. Cannot gain or lose signal strength. So another comparator there. We will do this again. There. And down to dust here. We will put a block here. A block here. Come over and back. And one more here. From this point. Comparator. A dust. A comparator, and a comparator. There we go. There is that hooked up for player 1. Let's swing over here to the left. Okay, it is going to be from this position here through this piston. So again, put a block next to that observer with a comparator. There. And in this case, we are trying to get down to here. Wow. Okay, so we've got a ways to travel on this one. But it is certainly, definitely doable. So again, if I can grab the blind, there we go. There and down with dust. Over and down with a comparator. Over and down with dust. Okay. Okay, so we're coming down in through here. I'm going to need glass next to the piston so we don't trigger the piston. That I know. And there's dust on that. There is a block above. There is a block there. So this signal comes down to there. A comparator here, firing down onto that dust. Working with that comparator. Okay, so that one's in. Next side. Over here. It's very similar to the first player. So again, we're coming here. Comparator. There. And in this case, we are going for probably this comparator right there. No. That comparator there? Yep, that comparator there. Okay, so yet again, bring that signal down. From here, we are going to bring it. Okay, so from here, we are going to do this again. Step it down with a comparator. Bring it down here. Dust. Okay, so now I can begin angling this in. Let's go ahead and put lime wool here. Come up and back, take that out. And put one there. So we can do a comparator and a comparator. And there are those all hooked up. Okay, so we only have a few more things to check on. And one of those last things being this over here. This one and that one over there for the other player. What we need, let's see here, is kind of a lock. Yeah, what we need is kind of a lock. If you remember, this has to do with whether the players 2 and 3 have pay-ins in diamonds and whether we pay out or not. So we're actually going to lock this by triggering this piston. So come off of this torch here, because this was our unlock circuit. We're going to come out to this point with a repeater. There we go. This repeater fires into a target block. And then let's lay this out 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Off of this target block, we will have a comparator, and basically we are going to do a decaying circuit. Dust, dust. Comparator going back the other direction. Dust. Target block off of this end. Like that. And a torch. Boom. Like that. Okay, so this when the wheel starts spinning, means player 1's to put in a payment. When the wheel starts spinning, this turns on, this goes, this turns off, this piston drops, allowing this piston to trigger and push this out of the way if and only if a payment goes through the shulker and sorting hopper. if no payment goes through, even though this piston is down, this piston won't push this block out of the way. And this system here is locked. And then when the wheel stops spinning, that turns off, this turns on, this pushes back up, this piston, regardless of whether this block has moved or not. And that locks things for the next time around. Okay, so we will do this over here on this one. And very similarly, we will come off of this block with a repeater. Like this, going into a target block. Like that. And then we will lay out over here 1, 2, 2, 3. And then here, okay, here's my piston. Actually, there. Okay, this spot we want a target block. Probably get rid of that. Okay, so it's comparator coming out, comparator going back. It's dust, 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 dust. And then on top of this, we will have a torch. There we go. Now, I will say, if same thing for the other side. If there are issues with the payouts for 2 and 3, this decaying circuit might not be long enough. And if that is the case, you can change this to make this delay longer simply by extending these like this. Put another block here with some dust. So that would extend it and make that delay longer for your payout to happen if there is issues. But I don't foresee there being issues, so I'm just going to leave it like this. Okay, and doubling up the comparators, you could do that over here too if you needed to. Okay, so let's kind of finish decorating this thing. We don't even have the wheel in yet, do we? So let's come in here on top of this piston. We will do green. And then coming back into the machine, it is going to be black, red, magenta, and the magenta should be in the middle of the wall here. Green, black, red, green, swing around the corner, red, black, green, blue. And again, the blue should be in the middle. Red, black, green, black. Swing around the corner, green. On the piston, black, red, magenta. Should be across from that magenta. Green, black, red, green. Swing around the corner, red, black, green, blue, and again, across from that one, red, black, green, and black. There we go. So from the front of the machine looking into the wheel, your color arrangements should look like this. And so then down here, just on top of the redstone someplace in the middle, put a redstone lamp for your ball. And then grab some slabs. Now make sure these are not solid blocks because you don't want the comparators to be sending a signal through them. And run some slabs here. Skip this corner. So you do not want any in this corner. Bring these around to this piston. Bring these around. Again, this is the front of the machine. You do not want any in this corner. So we will skip over it and continue bringing these to here and then back to here. Now, there is the chance that this wheel can still break just like the first one. And if it breaks, it will be that the pistons have pushed a slab into this comparator. So if that happens, just take the slab out of that spot, replace the comparator, put the slab back in the wheel. It's either going to be in this corner or it will be in this back corner here, where it will push a slab kind of where that comparator is. But you just replace it, put it back. These holes, put a slab up. This hole, put a slab up. Over these, let's see here, let's get a little decorative here. So above these, I'm using some andesite slabs. Just kind of doing a little corner here. That should not be there. Am I? Okay, just making sure. Okay, there's that. In the middle, I have some black stone stairs. Oh, okay. It's not going to let me. In the middle, I have the gilded black stone. Yeah, here we go. Now, can I do the stairs? Hey, there we go. There we go. And then we're going to come up with some fences. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I think I am in level with that. Okay. 6 and 7. There we go. 6, 7. Put gates there. So the gate should be on the same level as your border trim. 2, 3, and 4. We will top this off with just a block of gold, like that. Okay, and then to help cover all of this redstone, I was using stone bricks. Yep, just doing stone brick walls. Let's bring this on down. So in the middle, though, where's my middle? Okay, let me get my bearings again. Front of the machine, in the middle. 1, 2, 3 bulbs. Yep, okay, over here on the right, in the middle. 1, 2, 3 bulbs. Over here, 1, 2. Nope. Do my trim first. There's 1, 2, 3 bulbs. Fill the rest of this in. might not move. There we go. And let's do this one over here. Let's turn all of these bulbs on. Let's run glass. One below. Let's figure out where this back wall is supposed to be. Here. So we actually don't need those. Run this one across. Don't need these extra blocks. Don't need these extra blocks. Let's do more bulbs here in the middle. Do our trim. Actually, I might have wanted that one. So this whole top here can be filled in with glass. Assuming you don't get caught there. Let's go ahead and finish trimming these up. So this is that goes there. This goes to these spots. This gets some trim here. So this, we will trim this from below. These get worked into here. Let's grab. So these spots, we want slabs above our payout spots. That there. Two, three, four. This has one in the diagonal. These come down to here. These over to here. That goes there. That goes there. And then, let's see, fill in these corners. So we can go one, nope, 1, 2, gilded, brick, 1, 2, brick, 1, 2, 1, 2, gilded. Over here, likewise, brick, brick, brick. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Just for the decorations. Okay. Let's actually finish filling this in, I guess. Okay, so this is the decorating of the top completed with the 3 different players. Oops, not quite. I forgot my slab. Let's get a slab. There we go. Slab. All right. Yeah. Okay. Now, I did say at the beginning that we can change some of these to be prize payouts. So let me do that. Specifically, it's easiest to do it with the blue. So for example, if we want to do payouts of Totem of Undying on the blue, we can go ahead, put an item frame here and a totem. Same thing over here on this blue. And then what we would need to do, change it so that the payouts, instead of paying out the diamonds, which payment in was going to payment out, which is this barrel. Actually, you should be putting some diamonds in here anyways for our initial payouts. We can do a separate payout. So here's blue. And what we want to do, let me move my sign here for a quick second, is change the position of this sticky piston. So we still want it to fire, but in this case, we can have it fire up because it is most convenient. Take that out, have it face up like that, and that will prep for the payout, and the payout will be a separate dropper that we can stick next to this dropper. So let's kind of come around to here. We can have a dropper sticking up, loaded up with our whatever our prize is. Let's get a slab to put on top. So this is our new dropper. We can have a hopper running into the side because it's only 9 spots, so we can have like a larger supply here. So a couple of hoppers. A block. Where's my blocks? Sure, there's my block. Put a block next to that dropper, like that. Put a block down there on that. So that when that fires, that can come up. It'd be in the position where the green is. Let us then do an observer. Bring that up one more. An observer, an observer. Take out that one. Yeah, I know, you fired. But anyway, you can fill in your prize thing by filling in that hopper line. So now, if blue wins, this gets pushed up and triggers your 2 observers to fire that dropper, giving you that payout. But in addition to doing it here, you have to make this change on these other 2 sides. So again, move your sticky piston to face up. Take out this block. Have a dropper facing up next to that dropper. Replace your slab. Oh, put your totems. Where's my totems? Totem. Put some totems in the dropper. Replace the slab. Come back over here to the side. Feed that dropper from the side. A couple more hoppers. Put a block here. Put a block here. Build that up 1. Where's my observer? Observer. Take out that one. And replace the totem. There we go. And lastly, same thing over here. But it's mirrored. Let's see here. Take this out. Dropper. Replace the slab. I'm just going to do the totems afterwards. Coming to this side now. Hopper. Hopper. Like that. Block. Face that piston going up. Block. Observer. Now, these will pay out twice. So it's two. The way this is going up and down, you're actually going to be giving 2 rewards rather than just 1. Here we are. Weird. And so we go boom, 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 like that. And that is all she wrote, as they say. Now, be sure to remember to put diamonds in your initial payout droppers for your initial payouts. Yeah, something. Don't forget that. Which is that dropper back in there. There we go. Okay, so while I was actually editing this video, an individual logged into my Discord and posted a solution to the spamming of these player choice buttons to keep them from breaking. It is a rather simple tweak, but something I hadn't thought of before. And so I really appreciate them posting that solution. And their name is Boink. Yeah, Boink on Discord fixed the button spamming. So, yeah, thank you. Let me show you guys how to do this. Okay, so here on the front, for player 1, we are going to work our way inside here to this position. And then right here next to this piston, put an obsidian block or any immovable block. And then we actually need one for not just the bottom row, but the top row of pistons. And that will actually be all the way over here next to this dropper. Because this piston right here could push all of those blocks, and we don't want it. So to block them all, we're going to block it there. And actually, Boink posted this solution for the single player roulette wheel, but it also works on this one. For this player over here, we are coming in here again, putting an obsidian block next to that piston. And then we are going to swing on around. Their dropper is there, and you got the yellow block, so we're going to put obsidian next to the yellow block. And then for this player over here, again, come on in. Put an obsidian block next to that piston. And then this one, we have to kind of change this circuit a little bit. There's the dropper, there's the yellow block, but we got some redstone right here. So we are going to redirect this line over. You can take that out, take that out, take that out, and just redirect this around this way. And then put our obsidian block right there. Just like that. And so now, let's see here, black. And if we look here, our cobblestone is in this position. If I spam this real quick, let's see if I can try to break it. See, it didn't move. It didn't move because they're spamming. Okay, so did the bottom lecterns get messed up? No, the lecterns are the same. The cobblestone is where it should be. And nothing is misaligned with the blocks above. So, yeah. Brilliant solution. Very nice. Okay, I guess we can try playing around and verify that the machine works. So I'm going to play all 3 slots. Hopefully I haven't forgotten anything, because that would not be very fun. We're going to do black there. We're going to do green over here. Yeah, there we go. And then we're going to do a high payer. You know what? Might as well try this blue. There we go. All right, start. Oh, green. Look at that. I'd say that works. All right, thank you for sticking around and watching the video. These redstone videos are actually a lot of work. If you would like, you can support me over at Buy Me a Coffee. But otherwise, yeah, if you liked it, hit that like button. If you like some of my other stuff and haven't yet, think about subscribing. But until the next video, as always, have fun and see ya.